My bad. The presidents of the United States. Okay, let's skip those. So, George Washington. Washington's face is on the paper money. Do you know which bill? That's right. That's the $1 bill. Correct. George Washington was the first U.S. president. Before he was president in Washington, he was George Washington, hero of the American Revolution. He led the Continental Army for 6 years and helped a new country win its independence from powerful Great Britain, something many people thought impossible. He was the only president ever elected officially by the Electoral College twice. As the first leader of the United States, his job was to figure out the power of the presidency. The things presidents could and couldn't do, and the things they should and shouldn't do. He had to figure out how to make the country work. He did not chop down a cherry tree. That story was something imagining, but he did really like the pie. So he served 2 terms as president, which is very cool. Next up, we have John Adams. John Adams played an important part of an organization, the new country, and he was the first vice president. Adams hated being George Washington's vice president. He found it very frustrating. When Adams became president, one of the biggest accomplishments was avoiding war with France. He knew that the United States needed to concentrate its energies on creating a strong new government. He died on America's 50th birthday, July 4th, 1826, the exact same day as the third U.S. president. Adams was the first president to live in the White House, even though it wasn't quite finished when he lived there. Cool. Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was good at many things. He was a great writer. He wrote the Declaration of Independence. He was also a farmer, a lawyer, and an archaeologist. He designed his house, Monticello, a musician. He played the violin and an inventor, the swivel chair, among other things. He founded the University of Virginia, and now, of course, he was a president. As president, he almost doubled the size of the United States, which has Louisiana Parish, for which he paid only about 3 cents per acre of land. Jefferson started the tradition of letting ordinary citizens visit the White House. Sometimes he answered the door himself. Thomas Jefferson was famous for the words he wrote of the Declaration of Independence. It's true. All men are created equal, in spirit of the fact that he himself owned slaves. Jefferson did not like slavery. slavery. I mean, he thought it was going to cause a big problems for the country. Hmm. And he served only 2 terms. That's good. James Madison is responsible for some of America's most important documents, the United States Constitution, which tells how our government works, and the Bill of Rights, which explains what freedoms we have. Madison was also important. In fact, the many people call him the father of the Constitution. Madison was president during the War of 1812 when the British marched into Washington, D.C., and set fire to the White House just before enemy soldiers arrived. The president's wife, Dolly, rushed some important government papers, as well as famous painting of George Washington, to a safer spot. Madison was the first president to have the intellectual ball. Legal. James Monroe is probably best known for his Monroe Doctrine, which warned other countries to keep their hands off American land. 5 new states joined the country while Monroe was president, making 24 states in all. Monroe's time in office is sometimes called the era of good feelings because Americans were feeling conflict after their victories in the War of 1812. There were big arguments about salary. However, Monroe was the third president to die on July 4th, just 5 years after Adams and Jefferson. And he only did 2 terms, which is good. John Quincy Adams had a lot of government experience. He was the son of the President John Adams and had held important positions in the government of all first 5 American presidents. But the presidential election of 1824 was very close. Okay. It was finally up to Congress to decide the winner, as President Adams suggested the program to build new roads, canals, and schools, but the close election had left bad feelings with some people, so program did not get passed. After he left the White House, Adams won election as a congressman from Massachusetts. He earned great respect by becoming one of the loudest voices speaking up against slavery in the United States. Pretty cool. Andrew Jackson. So, yeah, he served 2 terms. Andrew Jackson fought in the Revolutionary War and was also in the War of 1812. He was the first president born in a log cabin and was called the People's President. He invited all the supporters to the inaugural ball, so crowds of them rushed into the White House, breaking things, climbing on furniture, fighting, and generally making a mess. Jackson was a strong president and knew just what he wanted to do, which were not always the same things. Congress wanted him to do so. Some called him King Andrew the First because he light to get his way. He served at least two terms. Uh-huh. And Andrew Jackson's face is on the $20 bill. Very interesting. Okay, I'm going to skip a few presidents here because I can't read them all because I'm just not feeling too good right now in my chest. But Abraham Lincoln is thought by most people to be the best president. He was elected to keep the country together. Lincoln also hated slavery. He said if slavery is not wrong, then nothing is wrong. Halfway through the Civil War, Lincoln freed the slaves and with his occupation proclamation. Shortly after Lincoln's re-election, he was shot as he watched a play in Ford's Theater. Lincoln was the first, but unhappy not to the last president to be assassinated. So his bill is the $5 bill, and also the little penny, the little baby penny. Okay, Ulysses S. Grant. Okay, Ulysses S. Grant was a Civil War hero, a Union general who won many battles by wars, and he was a commander of the entire Northern Army. When he ran for president, he won easily. African American and Native American men, but not women, who gave him the right to vote. Yellowstone National Park became the world's first national park, but Grant was a better military commander than president. Some of the men around him in the White House cheated in order to get rich, though Grant himself was very honest. After Grant left the White House, he wrote a book about his life, and it became a bestseller. And guess what Grant's face was on? The $50 bill. Isn't that great? The $50 bill. Yeah, that is very awesome. Yeah, sorry about the cats. They like to make, noises sometimes. And it kind of scares me. Mm. Mm. Well, yeah, I'm gonna keep going. Let's just do John F. Kennedy, please. John F. Kennedy is one of the most taught about the remembered presidents. He was the youngest U.S. president elected. With lots of energy, a glorious wife, and adorable children, and he was president for only about 1,000 days. Kennedy ensured Americans to find ways to help others, saying, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." He began the Peace Corps, an organization that sends Americans to developing nations around the world. Around the world. He spoke out for civil rights. The United States and the Soviet Union, who didn't trust each other at all, had a space race during Kennedy's presidency to see who could get men into space first. Sadly, Kennedy was assassinated during a motorcade in Dallas, Texas. Wow, that, that was so hard on us. Boy, president. Yeah. Uh, let's just go to the presidents that are alive right now at this time. Okay. So Jimmy Carter is still alive right now. And guess how old he is? 98 years old. Isn't that cool? Wow. Jimmy Carter faced the same bad economy and energy crisis that President Ford had faced. It wasn't unusual to see long lines of people at gas stations waiting to fill up their cars. To help, Carter created the Department of Energy. He also created the Department of Education to improve schools. He worked to clean up the environment and set aside more land to be protected in the national parks. He helped make peace between the countries of Israel and Egypt. Since leaving the presidency, Carter has spent his time working for peace around the world, building homes for people in need and writing books. Wow. Good job, President Carter. Bill Clinton. Ah, the bad one. No, just kidding. Just kidding. He's a good president. I'm just kidding. But Bill Clinton was, a good president. Was president during a time when the country was at peace. The economy was so doing well. Fewer people were out of work and more people owned homes. As president, Clinton helped pass laws to improve education, protect the environment, and give parents who needed to care for the sick family members time off from their jobs. He also worked with the world leaders to make it easier for countries to trade with the United States. White House scandals led to Clinton being the second president in history to be impeached. He was not voted out of the office. Since leaving the White House, Clinton has created the Clinton Foundation to help improve health, education, and the environment around the world. Yeah, around the world. George Walker Bush. Okay. Oh, you didn't know his last name? His name was Bill Clinton. Yeah, Bill Clinton. All right. George W. Bush. Okay. George Walker Bush was in one of the closest presidential elections in America's history. It took more than a month of recounting votes and reviewing procedures for the Supreme Court to decide. Bush had eventually won as president. Bush wanted to improve education for all children, and he encouraged Americans to volunteer in any way they could to help their neighbors. The biggest and most tragic event of Bush's presidency happened during his first year. On September 11th, 2001, terrorists attacked the United States. Bush signed the Patriot Act, which gave the government the law of enforcement, where power to fight terrorism. The United States also went to war in Africa, Iraq, to fight terrorism. Barack Obama. All right. President Barack Obama, here we go, was the first uh, African American ever elected to be leader of the United States. As Obama worked hard to promote peace in the countries around the world. He won the 2009 Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts. Back in the U.S., he helped pass laws to make the economy stronger. He also passed the Affordable Care Act, nicknamed Obamacare. The purpose of the law was to give every single American more affordable health care. Concerned about the environment, Obama established policies and entered into international agreements to reduce pollution and protect the earth, the whole earth. Obama also appointed two Supreme Court justices, Sonia Sotomayor, the first Hispanic justice, and Elena Kennan. Wow. Mm-hmm. Now we get to the two new presidents, which are Donald J. Trump and Joe Biden. All right, let's go. So Donald J. Trump. Uh, Donald J. Trump was a worthy real estate developer and TV celebrity before becoming president in office. He oversaw tax reforms, created a new branch of the U.S. Armed Forces, the Space Force, and relapsed America's judgmental landscape by appointing hundreds of new judges. Some of Trump's ongoing goals as president include making the country's borders safe, bringing more jobs to the United States, and changing the tax laws. Trump is the only president to have been impeached twice. He was coronated by the Senate both times. And last but not least, Joe Biden. Joseph Biden Biden Jr. served as a United States Senator for 36 years and is the vice president to Barack Obama for 2 terms before being elected president in 2020. Biden took office several months into the COVID-19 pandemic, a global health crisis that impacted almost every part of America. He signed to American Rescue Plan, a $1.9 trillion bill designed to help the country recover. And then Kamala Harris is the first female vice president of the United States. She was the district attorney of California and a U.S. senator before becoming the highest ranking female of official in U.S. history. Her husband, Douglas Emhoff, became the country's first second gentleman. Huh, now that's cute. Dad, I know you hate COVID. Everybody hates it. But, Joe Biden, helped us with that problem. But, I'm thinking, Donald Trump may come back, in his 47th term, 47th president term. But I think, Joe Biden, is starting to win more. I know. Joe Biden is winning here. And Donald Trump, you need to come back. Come back, Donald Trump. We love you. I hope Trump comes back because Joe Biden is ruining our lives. Our lives. Yeah, just kidding. He's not really ruining our lives. But, these presidents, are good people. And we should respect these guys who became presidents for our country. Yeah. But I like Donald Trump and Joe Biden here. They're really cool. But yeah, I'm not much of a Joe Biden fan, but I do how he does his presidency. He's really nice. And we should respect, that president. And also, we need to respect for Donald Trump as well. Donald Trump 2024. Donald Trump 2024. Or Joe Biden 2024. Joe Biden 2024. Joe Biden 2024. Yeah, I know. I wish I was president too. But it just takes a full responsibility. It takes a full responsibility, to become president of the United States. But I wish, I was more like in Bruce Cruz right now. I wish I was more like in Bruce Cruz right now, where I can play, a character from Josh's maybe brother or something. But Dela Cruz and Donovan Patton, and then it became, Steve Burns, at first. But Steve Burns, and then Donovan Patton, and then Josh Dela Cruz. But I wish the fourth one, could be me, or I don't know. But I do love, Bruce Cruz a lot. I always dreamed, about being in there. But maybe I might become president. I don't know. If I do, I want to be in one episode of Bruce Cruz and You. That would be nice. And then become a movie star and maybe make some music. Well, I guess I better, skedaddle. Don't want to lose, but it's time for me to go. First, we're gonna sing one more song. Now it's time for So Long. But we'll just sing just one more song. Thanks for doing your part. You sure are smart. With me and you and our friend Blue, we can do anything that we wanna do. We can do anything that we wanna do. Bye bye. See you later. Skedaddle.